My dearest Emily, my time for renewal has finally arrived, and I have thus set out into this new wild. I aim to seek a land where nature will lavish her choicest gifts upon me, where sickness hath no dwelling place, and where my toil will be amply rewarded. I see this as the dawn of a new life for me, a rebirth from the trappings and miasms of society. It is my final chance to explore both myself and the world around me. And I must say that I am so very comforted by the thought of your eyes soaking up my rambling words. It is sincerely my belief that our continued correspondence will encourage me to seek out the truths that have scattered themselves across the span of time, a time which flows like that of a wild river. I have grown much more weary in these past months, and my ailments continue to elevate in discomfort to a level in which my constitution can no longer bear. In a recent moment of serendipity, I conversed with a gentleman upon his return from the wild north. He proclaimed that a few days spent among the brooks, rivers, and lakes of this bracing climate had rendered him quite robust and healthy. He recommends such an excursion to many an invalid as far superior to quack medicines and expensive nostrums. I now plan to seek out and settle in a clime as he described, praying for the similar transformative effect to bestow itself upon me. I've heard that pine emits an odor peculiarly healing and highly beneficial for invalids. These recent months living in God's great land confirms this thesis, as my consumptive ailments have been healed, rendering me a new man. There is no place perhaps on this globe where nature displays such diversified lands and water. The banks are high and afford a series of picturesque views. The shores are rugged and steep, interrupted by lovely, sheltering covers. The shallows are plentiful. I have felt as if invited to settle down and admire their resplendent views with a sort of joyful thankfulness for having been led to them. But just as I am in awe of the beauty, I am also interested in the potential to employ its power to make a better life for myself. I have concluded that the only way to investigate more wonderment is to strike out and explore the vast realm that lies beyond my door.
I've overheard that the Northwest Company has brought 56 kegs of alcohol for trade with the savages this year. With my 8 kegs from the XY Company, we should have enough between us to trade more than 7 gallons of liquor for every single adult Sioux and Chippewa in the entire river valley. This will indeed be a very good year of trading for us, as this additional lubricant will help us pass last year's record of the savages harvesting over 8,000 beaver pelts for us. Michel Cureau, 1805.
Giu Gichi Mokumanug, when G we Degamanung, Giu Ashkanawig, Gichi Dagi Badiziwug, Wewib, Igo, Ije Bonendanawad, Wiganish U, Ogikino, Amago Winama Wenin, Inu, Gichi Aya Aminanin, Waya Benda Ikawad, P Dash, Kiwenjia, Niboa, Inu, Ogokino, Amaguinan, Dawin, Gida Hijinasiman, Gigit Sa, the Wanamiwug, Higu, Hojibweg, Minawa, Gawin, Awiya, Oga, Gikeni Masiwan, Winesh, in a way Mawad, Winawa, Mikdash, Zagaswe, Edi Winawug, you, Ojiskade Manan, Bisho, you, Chipikong, Gigagige Ishi, Atawe Igewad, Gichi Weshkin, 1820.
Nindugama Kandagaman, Nimbama Bizamananeg, O Ow, Izaweg Bizayan, Anishana, Akin Migawewin, Gapana, Mish Adawe Winawanag, Minawa, Gichi Mukomanag, Azagwa, Oma, Gashkatuwad, Anje, Izachigayan, Ninawind, Igo, Ow, Akin, Geget Sa, Onzam, Manumin, Minawa, Amakuwayanan, Nindasingananan, Je Isse, Minagoyan, Inu, Mayage, Apichaganan, Nushke, Inu, Bashkizaganan, Iwapiko, Apachaganan, Minawa, Ishkodawabu, Nindi, Minagoman, Gosha, Ninawin, Ningichi Aya, Imanani, O Ow, Odun Wachige, Winamanawani, Ningichi Nagaz, In Endaman, Ginwens, Ninawin, Bunindamang, Mi, Ga Ayang Wa Mingwangwa, Gichi, Nibowa, Gichi, Mukomana, Chigi, he's on it. I Ikadowag, Agawe, Gichi Ayaik, Gimama, Gonamani, Gichi, Mukomana, Giwe Aki, Ginawin, Je, Minagoyang, Gichi, Manadun. Nima, Migwe Bajikwe, 1827.
To the governor of the territory. With this letter being unofficial and private, I may with safety give you a more extensive view of our policy respecting the Indians. In order to promote this disposition to exchange lands, which they have to spare and we want, we shall push our trading uses. We will be glad to see the good and influential individuals among them run in debt, because we observe that when these debts get beyond what the individuals can pay, they become willing to lop them off by a cession of lands. In this way, our settlements will gradually circumscribe and approach the Indians, and they will in time either incorporate with us as citizens of the United States or move beyond the Mississippi. President Thomas Jefferson, 1803.
This has been a most prosperous season of bounty, as game was everywhere. Thus far, I've killed 79 deer, 16 elk, and 3 bears. I've also caught more trout than I can count with the aid of both hooks and large scoop nets. Even with these blessings, I'm still unable to grasp how untamed and rich the world is, spontaneously abundant with all the necessaries of life. I reckon that with a bit of cultivation, it might be made to produce even the luxuries of life. There is opportunity for all men to prosper, and seemingly no end to what one may need or want of this world. The only challenge I foresee is how to provide all of God's chosen people with the opportunity to delight in this new Canaan, this promised land.
When we signed treaty in 1837 to share our land with the white man, we said that when our grandchildren grows old, we will once again return to this land. But now, the great Father beyond the mountains forbids us to even hunt or fish on these lands. We now depend on the whites for food and clothing more than ever before. The wild rice, elk, and beaver are gone, replaced by gunshots, disease, and Ishkote Nabiguan, those monstrous fire vessels belching up smoke on the river. Naganub, 1863.
My boat is usually a smart and lively little craft that can run like a scared owl over a dry sandbar, but this trip has struck us on bars a dozen times thus far. These unavoidable detentions, on account of the low stage of water, floating logs from lumber companies, and heavy freight, each involve a delay of several hours. The slow working over a formidable sandbar when one's time is precious is about as severe a test of patience as could well be devised. Now and then, all hands had to leap ashore and cut down wood from the shore to feed the engine while the Knapp thus labored along. Oscar F. Knapp, captain of the GB Knapp, 1867.
How gay a time it has been traveling up the river on this stern wheeler of considerable prowess. It has been so exciting to experience nature without a worry for pesky bugs or animal attacks. Yesterday, from the safety and comfort of our boat, we were lucky enough to see savages, just as the captain said we might. We were amused by the pranks of the half-naked Indian children who ran into the waves raised by the steamboat wheels, flinging water about with exulting shouts, while a hard-featured savage, with a yell as of defiance, shot his canoe directly across the channel before the boat. What an authentic wilderness experience I've had thus far in this northern territory. Elizabeth Elliot, 1853.
What a pleasurable time me and the boys have had this week on the river. Our steamer captain promised a braggart's bounty of fish and fowl, and he has delivered on his promise tenfold. Immediately after the Enterprise departed shore, we constructed a bulkhead around the forward guards of the lower deck, a precaution rendered necessary for us to shoot waterfowl unobserved. After more than 30 brace of geese were expunged, we turned our sights to the sky overhead, which hung heavy with a thick flock of passenger pigeons. I fired my double barrel into a flock and brought down 52 pigeons at once, which must be a local record of sorts. Ebenezer Ayers, 1862.